Johnny Eduardo taking on Manville, the Anvil Gamburian. Eduardo, a minus 180 favorite comeback on Gamburian, plus 140. This is can never really get a real good feel on either one of these guys.
I was going to say either guy. You can't gauge either guy.
I feel as though Eduardo, I think, is ranked. Rankings are BS anyway, but he's ranked like 14th in the bantamweight division right now,
which is one fight in the last 2 years,
which is all on the teeth or on the back of that surprise knockout win that he had against Eddie Wineland. And Eddie Wineland,
ages ago,
which is a long time ago. He basically never fights. He's the Muay Thai instructor at Nova and Yao. Manny Gamburyan got completely dusted in his last fight against John Dodson.
Killed.
But John Dodson is such an athlete, super, super fast, and he's just like once he landed one of those punches on him, and then he just went in there and rabbit punched him like 60 times in the course of like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There was just too much of a difference in the speed there. This is a spot where I don't know if I really want to do it, but Gamburian is a dog, I think, with a shot here. If he's able to close the distance, take Eduardo down, make this an ugly, grinding type of affair. We saw Aljamain Sterling didn't really have much problems taking down Johnny Eduardo. Now I'm not putting Aljamain Sterling and Gamburian on the same level.
That should be the game plan.
That is the path to victory here, and I think
agree.
it's a path that he could potentially do here. The problem is he's slowed down, and he's regressed so much that It's kind of risky. All I'm really saying is I would not be betting or parlaying up Johnny Eduardo in this spot.
No, hard to. Johnny Eduardo, he takes so much time off. It's like, why is this guy? He must be injured. But he actually goes on record to be like, they don't book me. Like, I don't know what to say. But after that Eddie Wineland fight, you're right. That's a big knockout. If you had to guess how long ago that was, what would you guess?
I remember the exact day because I was out with my friends drinking. And all of a sudden, I started getting a bunch of Twitter notifications. I'm like, oh no, what's going on? Because I really thought that, that was a surprise to a bunch of people that we know in the online community cashed out on that one. But I thought,
how long ago do you think that was?
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years. You're actually right.
Yeah.
2 years and 6 months. 2 years and 6 months.
I knew it was in the spring. I think we went to a Jays game.
He's had one fight in the last 2 years and 6 months. Now, factor in he's 36 years old. He's not getting any younger. So it's like, okay, Johnny Eduardo, if you were going to do it, you got the biggest win of your career against Eddie Wineland. You need to get back in there. Instead, you take 2.5 years off. You come against Aljamain Sterling. It's a bad spot for you. I really think against Johnny Eduardo, and I think to myself, you're right, Muay Thai coach at Nova and Yao. So how good's his grappling? I mean, surely he's trading them jiu-jitsu for striking knowledge, but his grappling is just not all that good, man. And I look at a show called Fight Exchange that happened, I guess, maybe 4 or 5 years? 4 years ago, right? And in the Fight Exchange, they take 3 Canadian fighters, and they send them to Brazil. They take 3 Brazilian fighters, they send them to Canada. The thing of the show was the Brazilians would train at Luciao Thai in Toronto, and that the Canadians would train at Nova União in Brazil, and at the conclusion of the show, they all fight on the same card, not against each other, they all fight on the same card, and they fight against other opponents, right? So Michael Imperato, who's a local Toronto guy, who's a BJJ black belt now, but was a brown belt at the time, he's selected for Team Canada. This guy who's wrestled very minor league, Canadian-wise, not a great wrestler, good jiu-jitsu guy. He goes down there, and there's a lot of footage of him rolling with Johnny Eduardo, and he's smashing Johnny Eduardo. He's taking him down and just destroying him on the ground. And I always thought that was weird, because I know Imperato's good. This guy's the man, but I always had this belief that shouldn't Brazilian guys be better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu than Canadian guys? Why is this guy getting totaled right now? And he's a coach there, and he's got no ground game. But then you see him in the UFC, and he's the same way. He's just live by his stand-up, die by his stand-up. So against Eddie Wineland, you want to throw hands with him? Good luck. The guy knows how to throw hands. But if you want to take him to the ground, a la Aljamain Sterling, you can put him away. Now, Aljamain Sterling had beaten Mizugaki with a submission as well, but for the most part, this guy's not really finishing guys. He routinely takes guys into deep waters and beats them by decision. And yet he goes out there, and the second that fight hit the ground, he smoked Johnny Eduardo. So I look at Manny Gamburyan. Manny Gamburyan's another one of those guys that doesn't shoot the takedown as much as he should shoot the takedown. But there's no denying that there's that odd spot every now and again, like a Scotty Jorgensen, where the guy fights the way he should fight. Pressure him. Use your tiny little arms to back him up, overhand, shoot. Take him down, get on top of him, pound him. That works against Johnny Eduardo every single time. It does. That game plan, go out there and use that, and it'll beat Eduardo.
It's just whether he will employ that game plan.
Yeah, because if he doesn't, then little tiny Manny Gamburyan is going to stand in front of the guy that throws
Just get
heat.
pegged.
Exactly. I mean, seeing him get knocked off over John Dodson, everybody knows Dodson has power, but how much power can you generate when you're punching 6 inches away doing this? And then Gamburian goes down. Because that's how quick those little uppercuts are that completely fold him. So I think to myself, Gamburian's been knocked down in the past. Hell, Rob Emerson flatlined this guy way back in the day. I know his chin's not great. I know Johnny Eduardo hits him, he's going to hurt him. But if Manny has any resemblance of a decent game plan, then he's going to use his tools that are the perfect set of tools to beat a guy like Johnny Eduardo. So I would think I would lean towards Manny Gamburyan by decision.